From your local source, WCJB TV 20. This is TV 20 News 530 Live.
Good evening. A monument honoring the 10 Commandments may return to Chiefland.
The Chiefland City Commission will vote tonight at 6 o'clock to approve an application to allow the display to be placed on the City Hall lawn. A 2013 city resolution allows the public placement of displays on city property if it meets certain criteria, including historical significance and if all costs are paid by the person or organization applying for it. A similar display was placed on the lawn in 2008 after the commission approved a request from a Dixie County resident. The monument was removed in 2011 to be displayed across North Central Florida. TV 20's Alex Browning at 6 o'clock will show us how residents are reacting on the TV 20 News at 6.
Let's take a first look at the weather now for North Central Florida. We had some sunshine earlier today, and then I saw a lot of dark clouds starting to move in.
It was pretty warm too, Bill.
That was just me coming to the station page. You know, we're going to see some pretty nasty weather over the next couple of days. It's going to cool off quite a bit, and we'll have a chance of rain for your Tuesday, but late Wednesday into Thursday, that's when the heavy rain really begins to move in, maybe even some stronger thunderstorms. Kind of a mixed bag this afternoon. A lot of cloud cover, but a few peaks of sun from time to time, and the showers moving in at this time with the cold front trying to push through North Central Florida, but we've warmed up pretty nicely this afternoon, back into low 70s, 73 right now. Winds out of the west at 12, humidity 73%, the pressure at 30.09. A little cooler in Lake City, there at 68, 69 at Perry, 71 at Cross City, 62 at Cedar Key, and 75 in Ocala, even 79 Daytona Beach. So almost making it to 80 degrees there, where we made it to 80 yesterday. Not going to be quite that warm. You can see the showers beginning to develop across the region now, trying to move in with that cold front as they move from the north to the southeast at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Pretty slow moving, but they're not producing a lot of rainfall, and that's not what we're expecting. With this, it'll be another system that moves in by the middle of the week. So a scattering of showers here as we head through the evening hours. Temperatures holding in the upper 60s for a bit, then the low 60s by 8 o'clock, upper 50s by 10 p.m., but it doesn't really cool off too much overnight tonight, but it doesn't warm up much over the next couple of days either. I'll have more of that in your forecast in just a few minutes.
Time to check out our rush hour traffic situation on this Monday.
Bob Albert joins us with our traffic team update. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Paige. David, this report brought to you as courtesy of Central Florida Honda dealers. Traveling Newberry Road this afternoon, plan on headed out near the Oaks Mall. Be careful westbound towards I-75, stacked up. About a 1 to 2 light delay at every light along the way, so be extremely careful. An earlier crash, 13th Street in town at 29th Road, has finally been cleared. They're on the shoulder. And reports of a crash near Summerfield, south of Ocala, 441 at County Road 42. A couple of vehicles on the shoulder. They've been there a while, and the FHP should be clearing over the next few minutes. Bob Albert, that's your WCJB TV 20 traffic team report.
A judge is ruling there is probable cause for a police department to seize nearly $200,000 and a brand new truck from an NFL player and a native of Stark. Officers made the seizure through civil forfeiture during the drug arrest earlier this month of LaTroy Guion, a defensive tackle for the Green Bay Packers. The ACLU calls the method policing for profit. Law enforcement agencies disagree, saying the funds go right back to help the community. In his teenage years, Guion attended Bradford County High School. Well, also out of Stark tonight, a boiled water notice that was put into effect on Friday is no longer in effect. A broken water main has been repaired, and contamination surveys show that the water is now safe to drink again in Stark without boiling.
Making state headlines this evening, the search is over for the 33-year-old woman who disappeared out of the Tampa area more than a week ago. The Hillsborough County Medical Examiner has confirmed that the body found in a submerged car yesterday is April Foster's. Her red Chevy was pulled from a small lake in Brandon, a little less than a half a mile away from home. Deputies were alerted when a boater said he'd hit something under the water. Foster was last seen walking out of an Ybor City bar in the early hours of February 12th. A Hillsborough County school teacher is out of a job tonight after being accused of having sexual relations with a 15-year-old student. Our sister station, WFTV, reports Megan Connors resigned over the weekend from her position at Turkey Creek Middle School. Detectives say the 30-year-old started a relationship with a boy there last month. Investigators say the relationship began with kissing and eventually led to more during school hours. District officials say Connors was hired in July, and this was her first year teaching in the county.
The White House is issuing warnings, saying the Department of Homeland Security could shut down if Congress doesn't agree on a budget this week that is tied to a debate about illegal immigration. ABC's Karen Travers has the latest developments tonight from the nation's capital.
Another Capitol Hill deadline, another standoff. Funding for the Department of Homeland Security is set to expire at the end of this month unless Congress approves its budget. Today, President Obama said the stakes couldn't be higher.
It will have a direct impact on America's national security.
Congressional Republicans are using the Homeland Security budget to wage a fight against the White House over the president's immigration actions, which would limit deportations for millions of undocumented immigrants. The House passed a bill that would continue funding Homeland Security, but overturn the immigration orders. Senate Democrats keep blocking that legislation to keep those orders intact. If this fight isn't resolved, some 200,000 DHS employees would stay on the job, but not get paid until Congress authorizes funding. Another 30,000 would be told to stay home. This would impact Border Patrol and TSA agents, port inspectors, and FEMA employees.
Don't tie that debate to the funding of the men and women standing behind me, who have multiple missions on behalf of Homeland Security.
Given the increasing global threats, including a new call by a Somali terror group for an attack on Minnesota's Mall of America, some Republicans say this isn't a battle worth fighting.
If we don't fund the Department of Homeland Security, we'll get blamed as a party.
House Republican leaders say they're waiting to see what the Senate does this week. But as far as they're concerned, they already passed a bill, and now it's up to the Senate to get it across the finish line. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Now for more on what Karen Travers just referenced, a new video from al-Qaeda's affiliate, Al-Shabaab, is calling for an attack on shopping malls in Great Britain, Canada, and here in the U.S. Tonight in Covering America, the group specifically names America's biggest shopping center, Minnesota's Mall of America. There's been an increase in the police presence, and shoppers have been told to look out for suspicious activity. The government is particularly concerned because Al-Shabaab has been especially effective recruiting Somali immigrants from the Minneapolis-St. Paul area to join its ranks. We're following new details in the apparent Las Vegas road rage shooting. The suspected gunman made his first court appearance today. ABC's Ted Rowlands tells us what the accused shooter's defense will be.
Standing in shackles, 19-year-old Erik Ugartechea didn't speak during his first court appearance in Las Vegas Monday morning. Ugartechea is accused of killing mother of four Tammy Myers in what police initially described as a road rage murder. But Ugartechea's lawyer, in an exclusive interview with ABC, says that's not what happened.
There was no original road rage situation between Tammy Myers and Crystal Myers and anybody.
Police believe that Myers was giving her 15-year-old daughter Crystal driving lessons when Ugartechea and another man in a silver Audi threatened them, sparking what ended up as a gun battle between Ugartechea and Myers' 22-year-old son Brandon. Tammy Myers went to get her son to track down Ugartechea and the other man after the initial encounter. Myers was shot in the head after an exchange of gunfire in the cul-de-sac in front of her home.
The facts seem to point to self-defense in this situation. It seems to explain the facts that we have in front of us more sensibly than any other explanation.
Ugartechea, who's facing several charges, including murder and attempted murder, didn't enter a plea Monday. The judge scheduled a preliminary hearing in the case for March 10th.
Las Vegas police are still looking for the other suspect who was with Ugartechea at the time of the shootings. Ted Rowlands, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Tonight in Covering the World, a U.S. jury is ruling Palestinian authorities should be held responsible for the terrorist attacks in Israel that killed or wounded Americans. Victims have been awarded $218 million in damages. The decision was reached at a civil trial in federal court in New York. A Greek government official says a list of reforms demands from the new government by bailout creditors will be sent tomorrow, extending a deadline by a couple of hours. The official today said the reforms would be discussed later at a teleconference of Eurozone finance ministers. The reforms list was required as part of an agreement reached Friday to extend Greece's bailout deals for 4 months. And there are dozens of reports across north central Florida from people who noticed a strange sight in the skies over the weekend. A bright lime green flash spotted around 11 o'clock Saturday night through the clouds for a couple of seconds. James Alberry with Santa Fe College's Kika Silva Pla Planetarium saw the flash and says it was caused by a meteor. The American Meteor Society says it was traveling from the southwest to the northeast before ending about 30 miles west of Jacksonville. Alberry says the fireball was probably from a meteoroid, a little bigger than a baseball. Well, this weekend brought a lot of big events in entertainment, all from the Oscars to NASCAR's biggest race. Coming up next, what our Hubert Meisel thinks about this year's anticipated Daytona 500.
Plus, it's a big day for one of the lucky winners in that massive Powerball jackpot. We have the latest details after the break. Those stories and more next on 530 Live.